Hi there, everyone. How are you doing?
Me?
Yeah, so usually I'll say hi, everyone, and then you'll respond, and that's kind of like the dynamic we have going on here. But if you want to instead be silent for an awkward amount of time at the very beginning of the episode, we can roll with that.
Yeah, I thought it was worth a try.
Yeah, okay. I see where you're coming from. However, I am going to soldier on here.
All right.
So at the end of the last episode, we learned that Kurisu's memories from before she came to Japan still exist and are captured as part of this Amadeus system. A fact that I'm sure Okabe will react to extremely normally.
Yeah.
Several days passed after the ATF party. Is this not? Oh, okay, that works too. 10 minutes from Ikebukuro via the express train, and then 10 minutes by bus from a station called Wako City in Saitama. The office I was looking for was on the second floor of a building right next to Riken. Global Brain Science Comprehensive Research Organization, Japanese Office Prep Room. That was what the plate on the door said. To get in, you needed 3 types of special keys, plus a security card. What is this place?
The plan is for brain scientists from all around the world to work together to make a new organization. Our lab is leading the way.
She led me inside. The office must have been newly rented. Most of the desks were still empty, showing no signs of ever having been used. Who's texting us? Oh, it's Ferris. Hi, Ferris. Oh, we get to react with our own stickers now.
The mysterious Zucchettos have at last appeared in Akihabara, nya.
Garo Froggy.
Garo Froggy? Giggle Froggy?
Yeah.
Haha.
Ocarine, do you?
Haha.
I see. So you knew about it too, Ocarine. So Mew knew about it too, Ocarine. Then you know there's no turning back now, nya. Then I will say no more, nya. Together we shall ascend to those highest heights, nya. Ooh, yeah. Ooh, yeah.
So, in the previous games, Ferris has always been able to out Chuni, Okabe.
Yeah.
But he would at least play it back for a while, right?
Not anymore.
Not so much anymore. He's currently gone through the ringer. There wasn't even a whiteboard, which made the room look even more empty. There wasn't a lot of natural light. Maybe the windows were on the north side? The only illumination was from the overhead fluorescent lights. The room felt very cold.
This is just the prep room.
No one was sitting at any of the desks, but 2 of them had stuff on them. One of them was a mess filled with notes, calculators, coffee cups, and supplement bottles. That was the one Maho sat down at. Which meant the one that was neatly organized must belong to Dr. Leskinen, right? Where is the professor?
He's off today.
Well, it was Sunday. Are you off today as well?
Yeah. Otherwise I wouldn't have been able to sleep past noon.
That is true. When I'd gone to pick her up from her hotel in Wako City, she'd come out of her room half asleep. This was the day that I was to meet Amadeus Kurisu. Maho had gone over the basics of being a tester on the way here. Essentially, Amadeus needed sample data for conversations, and they were going to give me an environment where I could talk to it at any time, 24 hours a day.
Oh no.
Again, something I will be completely normal about.
Oh no.
But they're testing it in the same way you would test like a neural network or something like that. Like feeding it data and seeing how it reacts and seeing like, is this in line with what we expect? And if not,
probably not encouraging a psychologically damaged person to attach to it 24 hours a day, though.
Right. We keep kind of breezing over it because the game hasn't really brought it up yet. But remember, this is after Okabe fails at the end of the original Steins Gate game. Think about it. All that stuff he went through trying to save Mayuri, all of that conviction to go back to save Kurisu, and he fails.
Well, he succeeded in saving Mayuri.
He saved Mayuri, but he fails at saving Kurisu. And Think about how he must have felt after not only having gone to the brink of despair, but clawing his way back, getting to that high point, and then immediately failing again.
Yep.
Yeah, he is not doing well. She didn't give me any of the details beyond that, though. So I'll be able to talk to Amadeus Kurisu 24 hours a day, huh? Is Kurisu's Amadeus here?
Yep.
Maho nodded and gave me a glance.
You just said she, didn't you?
Huh? I mean, yeah,
You two were a lot closer than I thought, weren't you?
The only healthy things can come out of this conversation. Maybe my silence was an answer in itself. Because what they're aligning is, Kurisu did come back to Japan briefly. Is he are they kind of alighting because she came back to give that lecture and died. So what they're kind of, what Okabe's lying about is like, oh, I got to know her, but it was during this period, but while she was in Japan before she died. Right? And that's after the point where her memories had been stored, so. Maybe my silence was answer in itself. Maho's response was uncharacteristically hesitant. Oh, we got a quick save in front of this one. Who's messaging us?
Okabe, may I have a moment of your time?
Not today. I'm meeting someone right now. I don't want to be rude to Luca, but we are in the middle of,
True.
Is it important?
That seems reasonable.
Yeah. Is it important?
No, it's not that important.
Could it wait then, please?
All right, I'll contact you later.
I'm sorry. Thank you.
No, please don't worry about it.
Thank you for the double Myuri heart stickers. Maho's response was uncharacteristically hesitant.
Then, maybe you shouldn't meet her after all.
Why not?
The closer you are to someone, the crueler that system is.
I'm all right.
Fine. I won't bring it up again, but just remember one thing. The memories are from March, the last time Kurisu did an update. So anything you say about what happened after March, for example, while she was in Japan, she won't remember it.
That's right, isn't it?
And the professor and I have run our program a lot of times between March and today. Each time Kurisu, the Amadeus Kurisu, has created memories that the original never had. Stories we've told her, information she's found on the internet, new people she's talked to, things like that.
Ugh. Imagine if she was on At Channel and Okabe has the unique horror of going on At Channel and seeing Kuri Gohan and Kamehameha posting.
In other words, what you're about to meet isn't the Kurisu Makise, your friend. It's one of the problems with the system. Causes a lot of confusion with the people on this side. I mean us humans. Because you'll think you're talking to the real Kurisu.
So don't get reality and fantasy mixed up, I guess.
Our brains have trouble keeping up with the fact that our memories aren't shared with them.
Memories that aren't shared. Now there's a feeling I knew well. Reading Steiner. It was a power only I possessed, which made my memories different than those of the people around me. Take me to her. Maho gave me a slight nod.
This way.
I do like how she's at least doing like the due diligence of like, all right, you're an adult, you can do this if you really want to, but it's probably not the best idea.
Take it from me, if you were in love with Kurisu, then probably this will hurt you a lot. Not that I'd know that.
Not that I'd know that. Oh, man. She led me to the back of the room. It was a booth separated by a thick partition. To get inside the booth, you needed a different card key than the one used to get into the room, as well as a security code. You're pretty strict about security.
Industrial spies are our biggest threat these days.
She entered the security code and unlocked the door.
Go inside.
The room was about 2.5 meters per side. At one end was a white desk, and above it was a PC with a built-in 30-inch screen monitor.
Sit just behind me for now.
There was a small sofa that let you sit behind the user and see what was happening on the screen. I sat there. Maho powered on the PC and began to type.
Wow, signing in raw binary. Okay.
Could you imagine? A second later, the words Amadeus system appeared on screen. I saw her put the ID in. Salieri. Salieri? Salieri and Amadeus, huh? Was there some meaning to that? Probably not. I wouldn't worry about that. There's probably... Come to think of it, in the famous movie Amadeus, there was a character who was spiteful and jealous of Mozart's incredible talents, but who, in the bottom of his heart, admired him more than anyone else. That character's name was Salieri.
Don't look at the password, all right?
Maho moved her body to hide her hands. I looked away. You could have just let that be implied, game. You didn't have to just explain the metaphor here. She finished logging into the system, and a simple bare command prompt appeared on screen.
Are you ready?
Yes. Yes, do it. Maho entered several commands at the prompt.
Sorry, I can't show you this part.
Well, I wouldn't be able to make sense of it, but...
Still, you know how it is.
She turned off the monitor, then she spun around to face me. I suddenly realized I was clenching my fists. How long had I been doing that? My hands were sweaty, and there was a red spot at the base of my thumb where my nails had dug in. Was I more nervous than I realized?
What is it?
Oh, I'm just, starting to get a little bit scared.
There's still time. You can just leave now.
You're pretty mean, you know that?
Oh, really? I'm just worried about you.
Then act like it. Seriously, you and Kurisu. Ugh, you lab girls. For a second, the old joking me was about to come back. I quickly changed the subject. People who spend all their time doing experiments can be so rude.
That is a clear case of slander. I can sue you for defamation if I want.
Stop, you're scaring me.
I know a good lawyer. Want me to introduce ya?
How about you stop suing me first?
If you want to talk about a settlement, you're gonna need a lot of cash, my friend.
I'll buy you a Dr. P later.
Yeah, you're so cheap.
I heard a small sound from the back of her throat. I guess she was laughing. Normally I'd find that irritating, but strangely coming from the girl in front of me. No, she was a grown woman, actually. I didn't. Maho Hyajo was very strong-willed, with the prickliness and short temper unique to scientists. She always seemed to be a little bit upset about something, but maybe she wasn't that bad. Oh, I see. Maho. She's a lot like Kurisu. Ugh. When I first met Kurisu, she was like that. Arrogant, rude, never willing to change her mind. Stubborn, hard-headed, always ready to confront you with raised eyebrows whenever you said something she didn't like. Actually, you know what? Fuck her. Now that I'm laying it out all on the table. I truly thought I'd never seen a more unlikable woman. But despite my first impression, on the inside she turned out to be fragile, easily hurt, and so kind and lovable.
Oh, who is this? Who is this? This is what's her name?
Is this what's her name, or is this Amadeus?
Oh, that's a good question. Maybe this is Amadeus. Okay,
Yeah.
we're gonna assume this is Amadeus.
I assume this is probably
Okay.
Amadeus.
What's so funny, Maho?
I suddenly heard a girl's voice from the speaker. Yeah, I don't think what's her name shows
Okay.
up yet. Yeah. Oh! I found myself jumping off the sofa. I knew this voice. I couldn't forget it. I could never. Maho turned on the monitor. The girl I'd never forgotten appeared on the screen. Maybe it was based off of her appearance at the brain science lab, because she was wearing a white lab coat. The PC's camera turned toward me on its own.
Who is this?
Maho was introducing me, but I didn't hear anything she was saying. I simply stared, entranced. I wanted to reach out my hands. I wanted to touch her. She was right there.
Nice to meet you, Rintaro Okabe. I'm Kurisu Makise. I look forward to working with you. Opening credits play.
That's a good place for the opening credits to play, isn't it? Oh, that's really good. We'll let him play. We'll let him play. Like how it flashes back to all of the moments from the first game.
Yeah.
Did this come out after the anime? Because that shot of the anime of the first game, because that shot in particular this all seems very inspired by the anime's opening.
Maybe.
Doesn't it? Because the anime of the original Steins Gate has a very particular, unique, and kind of, I'd say, iconic opening sequence. And the opening to the game is very different from that. But this seems to be taking a lot of cues from the opening of the anime of the original Steins Gate, not the visual novel.
The Steins Gate Zero VN came out in December 2015. So I think that's
definitely after. Yeah. So that makes perfect sense then. So yeah, this is now existing in a universe where the Steins Gate anime has become the runaway hit that it is. Like that shot right there in particular, that is right out of the anime's opening. So that's why you're seeing this kind of weird cross-pollination, right?
Yeah.
Where it's no longer just the VN that people know about, like people at, like I was introduced to this through the anime originally. I don't know about you. But I watched the Steins Gate anime first.
Because I made you.
Because you made me. I'm glad you did. I found a lot to love and a lot of meaning in this.
And a lot to hate.
A lot to hate. It's complicated. Closed epigraph.
All right, Mr. Okabe, try to relax. My voice is a bridge guiding you down into the past. You're going down and down and down, and then you see a gentle colored light.
I was dreaming. Daydreaming. I was aware that I was lying on a big sofa undergoing counseling. I tried my best to stay calm and imagine what the psychologist was telling me.
What color is the light? What color?
Psychopaths?
Yeah.
Season 2?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is like it's not bad, but it's like the most mid part of like the entire Psychopaths franchise, for sure. It's red.
Red, I see. The person you care about is standing in the light. Are they your family?
No.
Then your friend, or perhaps lover.
Lover, no. No, not my lover. Not even my friend.
Then what are they?
She and I are... Memories came flooding back into my mind like a geyser. Imagine how difficult that must be from a psychologist's perspective, to deal with someone who has these strong feelings and emotions towards someone that they can't say they've met.
Yeah. Could you come with me for a moment?
What?
My Rishina is not needed.
I don't remember that CG. I remember that one, though. pathetic.
Tell me. I know you use the time leap machine. Save Mayuri. This is the second time we flashed back to this moment in the past 5 minutes.
I know.
Go to the beta world line, the world where Mayuri doesn't die. Not just for your sake, but for mine as well. Will you remember me? Am I going to die? I don't want to die. Mr. Okabe.
I killed her. I killed her. It was me. It was me.
Even darkest timeline where Okabe does get her death pinned on him because of this self-blame, combined with the fact of him like impossibly being in places and so on and having knowledge of things and blood on him. Like,
because in this world line, the one that we're continuing here, he did go back and kill her and then jump back into the future that created. So
oh shit, I didn't read the line.
I thought you had read it. I'm sorry. You did the awkward pause that told me I had to do it.
Did I?
That said that like you need to roll the line, SK. I can't.
Oh, I didn't think I did any pause.
Oh.
I was just talking over here, and as soon as I turned back over here, it was
I'm sorry.
the next thing. Listen to me. I'm going to pat you on the shoulders. When I do, you'll be fully awake. 3, 2, 1, now.
I'm being pressed. There was a loud sound, and then I felt an impact on my shoulders. Kurisu's suffering face disappeared instantly, and I could feel my consciousness awakening. I
don't have a sprite.
I stood up off the sofa. I felt dizzy and almost fell over. Yeah, a psychologist doesn't get Sprite. Does he appear in the anime for Zero?
I feel like
he must. I feel like they must show him at least once.
Are you all right? Rest a minute. I'll bring you a towel right now.
The psychologist left the room. I realized that I was soaked in sweat. The air conditioner was working, so I could tell it wasn't from the heat. It was the first time I tried hypnotherapy at a mental health clinic. My body felt strangely heavy. When I got outside, it was night. It was almost December and the wind was cold. Hey, new Mayuri! Oh, look at how cozy she is! Aww! Heck yeah, let's see if we missed any text. It's been a day, right? Oh, that's new.
Ruh-roh.
Ruh-roh. Can't click on it. Just so you know, I tried. Oh, Maho's on our phone now.
This is the best timeline. I'm so comfy.
She is very comfy in this timeline. I do like everyone's character sprite updates. I think they are all very true to their characters while also, reflecting that things have changed drastically in their lives.
Petition to further enlarge Mayushi's scarf. Exactly. You understand.
I understand.
How was it, Okarin?
Mayuri Shina asked me gently. Mayuri was a high school student and my childhood friend. She'd come with me to counseling today. I told her I didn't need her to, but she'd left school early to come. All I ever did was make her worry. Around 3 months ago, my one obsession had been saving her. To me, she had always been someone I had to protect, and now she was worried about me. It was only because of Mayuri's recommendation that I tried counseling. Sorry, Mayuri, I know this is important, but also I've got texts. Hey, you got a second, Uncle Okarin? What is that?
That's but I refuse.
How about okay?
Sure.
Okay. Listen, what do you think I should do about Mom and Dad? What do you mean? I just can't see them getting together like this. Well, you're right. Uncle Ocarine, is there anything that you can do? You know there's nothing I can do to help with that, right? You're right, yeah. It just kind of hurts that you just gave up that easily, honestly. It doesn't really seem to be your kind of thing, Uncle. Wow! Wow. Jealous. So that tells us what Susan... Remember, this is Suzuha from a different future, but one that's still bad. And she told us last episode why she's going to stick around. But as long as she's here, she gets to worry about her parents getting together. So,
Yep.
you know, fun times. It was only because of Mayuri's recommendation that I'd tried counseling. It's not that bad, they said. I told her a small lie to make her feel better. That's what I like about you, Ocarine. You don't tell me what's going on. As we've learned, this is a trait that I like about you. Actually, they told me I'd suffered serious trauma. They'd stopped the hypnotherapy and given me a course of counseling and drugs. Now they wanted to wait to see the results. Basically, they decided there was nothing to do but treat my symptoms and wait for it to heal naturally. Like, okay, yeah, addressing that there's trauma, but, like, not talking about it? Or...
I don't think that's what they said.
Oh, yeah.
I think they said a course of drugs and counseling.
And counseling. Yeah, you're right. I couldn't tell if what Maho had shown me yesterday was having an effect. I underwent treatment without telling the psychologist about the time machine or the world lines or most of the things that had happened, so maybe there was no way for them to make a proper diagnosis. In any event, I decided not to think too much about the results.
Maybe this is me putting too much on a seriously traumatized person, but it feels like it would not be hard to spin this to someone I cared about deeply died in my arms. It doesn't need the time machine context.
Yeah, but even... there's no way to get at the particular pain of... And she asked me to because doing so would mean someone else who matters a lot to me would have died.
True.
You know what I mean?
True.
No matter how much you elide it. Hey, Mayuri. You haven't eaten yet, right? Would you like to go get some food? I'll treat you.
Oh, can we go to Akihabara then? Luca and Ferris say they haven't seen you in forever, and they want to meet up.
Akihabara, huh? The clinic was in walking distance of my house. Akihabara was much farther away. But even so, I couldn't turn down Mayuri's request. Until the events of the summer, I'd gone there almost every day. In fact, I'd practically lived there. Lately, I only went about 3 times a week at the absolute most. And then only to go shopping on the way home from school. We went out into the plaza in front of the station. Just like in Ikebukuro. Even though it was only a month until Christmas, there were barely any decorations. I'm sure the whole place would be covered in them the minute it was December 1st. Eventually, I was sure to see maids in Santa outfits. Maids in Santa outfits passing out flyers in Akihabara, huh? Akihabara could be very, very weird.
Oh, it's Ferris and Luca. Toot-toot-oo.
Aw, look at that glow up.
Nyan? Kyoma!
Okabe, Mayuri.
So this particular Ferris design is near and dear to my heart because here's another true SK fact. One of my Magic the Gathering Commander decks is a cat tribal deck.
It sure is.
And because I felt like inflicting maximal psychological damage on my opponents, the sleeves for that deck are all this design of Ferris. Who has somehow gotten more fuzzy? The ears are bigger. She's got a big hood. She's got the paws. Honestly,
keep warm.
it looks very huggable, is what I'm getting out of this. Ferris and Luca must have been waiting. They ran over as soon as they saw us.
I missed you, Nya.
Ferris Nyan Nyan jumped at me without the slightest hesitation. She was a maid, and Ferris was not her real name. I knew her real name, but if I didn't call her Ferris at all times, even when she wasn't working, she would get mad at me. She was wearing the same outfit she always wore, her work clothes from her job at the Maid Cafe, May Queen Neon Squared. Not May Queen plus Neon Squared? Was May Queen going to switch to Santa outfits soon? Stop. Everyone's looking at us. I tried to pull Ferris off of me, but it wasn't working. Maybe I should just steal the cat ears off her head. No, it'll power down the Ferris.
Who cares, Nya? All that matters right now is Ferris and Kyoma.
I care, and stop calling me Kyoma.
Meow? Why?
I have consigned that name to my dark and mysterious past.
Meow?
Ferris looked upset, but I decided to ignore her. Why would you upset the Ferris? Come on. Kyoma Hooween was part of a past that I'd sealed.
What?
I wasn't used to seeing it in that order.
Yeah, it is kind of odd that they switched the order for the localization of this release, but not the other.
Yeah, it's weirdly inconsistent at times. I decided to pretend he never existed. Because that's the order it would be if it was first last, right?
Yeah.
But also, he only ever says Ho and Kyoma.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's weird. He had meddled with the forbidden invention called the Time Machine. And as a result, the systems that ruled the world had punished him. Is there a little bit of dissociation going on here too?
Oh, absolutely.
Him putting this on his alter ego and separating himself from... Oh, and he's got an alter ego as to put that on.
Yeah, just ready to go.
Just
Super
ready to
convenient.
go. Oh, that's a delicious little subtlety to this I have never noticed. Welcome to Dissociation Station. He dashed the hopes of many, lost the life of someone he cared for, and his heart had suffered grievous wounds. He must never be awakened again. I didn't need him anymore.
Then what should I call you, Nya?
Well, Okabe or something.
Okay, something.
I should have. You know what? That's on me. That's on me. I should have known that was coming.
I think Okarin's a cute name, don't you, Ferris?
By the way, Ferris was what Mayuri calls Ferris. She claimed it was easier to pronounce or something like that.
Unfortunately, since we both speak English, there isn't a good distinction in that.
Yeah, like Ferris versus Ferris. Like there is a subtlety there, but it's not something that, with at least my accent anyway, is gonna...
I wonder if in the original it's Faris versus Ferris or something.
Faris versus yeah. The difference is that Mayuri, like the eh in Ferris is with an E, and it's spelled with an A normally.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the local, what subtlety they're changing to make, I'm not sure what is being localized into that, but it settled out in English. It's not as clear.
Well, if you say so, Mayushi. It still doesn't sound right, Nyan.
They're giving her less neons and more mews, I've noticed.
Yeah.
I've added in a bunch of neons just because it's habit, but they really don't like giving her the neons this time. She looked unsatisfied, but she backed away. Lukaku, it has been a while.
Yes.
Lukaku smiled happily. How are we doing this? Are we going to continue our headcanon?
I don't know.
Do we want to continue the headcanon or just accept that we're fighting a losing battle here?
It's a mystery.
Is that femboy erasure? I think it mattered a lot more to me when we started, and I've kind of mellowed out on it since then. I'm willing to read it as is.
Okay.
I'm willing to read it as is.
Bold words about the game Steins Gate. Let's do it. Let's see how far we get before we run into something that you don't feel like having come out of your mouth.
Yeah, we'll see how long that takes us, right? Oh, he always looks beautiful as a pretty girl. But he's a guy. He was a classmate of... We're doing this joke. We're doing it. It's happening. He was a classmate of Mayuri's and could often be seen helping at the Anabayashi shrine where his family lived. I probably shouldn't call him Lukaku. Just like I told Ferris not to call me Kyoma. He had his own name, Luka Urushibara. But calling Lukaku Luka after all this time, that would be truly embarrassing.
feels like a very long time. I sometimes go to the lab, but you haven't been there much, have you?
Oh, no, I haven't. I'm sorry. I've been busy with school, and I had to get ready for ATF, too.
Wow, you're working for the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms?
Why would those three things be... Two of those together make somewhat sense. Controlled substances. One of them feels like maybe that shouldn't be in there.
Tell that to the federal government.
Which federal government?
The United States federal government, the one that has the BATF.
Okay, well, why do you know that? No, we're here. We're doing this now. Why do you know what that is? Oh, what? You can't put your money where your mouth is? Okay, I see. Even after all that was done, I'd been busy with Maho and Dr. Leskinen, and then Amadeus. I hadn't had a chance to rest. But I avoided mentioning that to them. Oh, and I'm in a club now.
You joined a club?
What kind of club, Nya? UFOs? UMAs?
Who do you guys think I am?
The guy that you were until literally months ago.
Because from their perspective, they got to know Okabe as mostly Halloween, right?
Yep. And then suddenly, over the course of a
single
week,
day, right? Because from their perspective, it's literally a day.
Well, there's. Wait, it is a day.
It is a day.
It doesn't. Even the weeks where things got weirder are ones that didn't happen in this timeline. It's literally a single day.
It's literally a single day. His personality just goes bam. So, we kind of gloss over it because Okabe is going through some trauma, but they just saw the one friend that kind of unites their group together just shift immediately over the course of a day and won't explain why. I imagine some of them have to be smart enough to connect it to the fact that there was a murder in that building. But I wonder... Yeah, they probably don't know. He definitely hasn't told them. I guess I hadn't told them then. Mayuri, I'm pretty sure I told her. As the two of them looked at me with wide eyes, I cracked a knowing smile and puffed out my chest. The tennis club, actually.
What?
What?
The people around us all turned to stare at Ferris and Luca.
Why the tennis club, Nya?
Okabe, have you ever played tennis?
Of course not. I may not look it, but I'm terrible at sports.
I don't know.
Whatever you say, buddy.
I may
Whatever
not
you
look
say.
it. Wow.
I'm confident I'd lose to Mayuri at distance running.
Then why, Nya?
I'm just gonna keep doing nyans. They sound more natural. Well, it's a long story, but the associate professor who's my teacher at school is the tennis club's advisor, and they asked me to join.
That's not long at all, Nya.
Well, I'm not done yet. That teacher's done a lot for me, so I decided to stop by.
And
it turns out I have a talent for tennis. Despite the fact that I'm a beginner, I beat every single one of them.
I don't believe that for a second.
Well, pretty amazing, huh? And now we see
I like the new sprites. The original game didn't have this.
They're very good. I miss kind of the speckling.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That was one of the things I really loved about Steins Gate the VN that is lost in the anime and most subsequent adaptations.
It still has a bit of it in this, though. If you look at the hair textures, they're a
little bit, but it's much more muted.
Yeah.
And I get it, because at this point, remember, this is after the anime gets huge.
Yep.
And they're using all new assets now, so it's okay, that makes sense. I just miss that. It's such a to me, it's such a cool part of Steins Gate's identity that doesn't really get carried over into any of the other parts of the larger science adventure series or Steins Gate games. Well, so it goes.
You really are amazing, Okabe.
And now we see... Luca is always just going to be happy to be around Okarine, right? But Ferris really needed someone to bounce off of.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if I'd known, I would have been a pro tennis player by now.
You could win Wimbledon.
Huh.
What's wrong, Ferris? Do you have a headache?
I'm not even sure where to begin, Nya. It's the most obvious ploy to get new members that I've ever heard of, Nya.
She's right though. Don't say that. I had kind of noticed, but I'm trying to avoid thinking about it. But they're all really good people.
Can we talk about Mayushi? Not Mayushi's. Talk about Ferris's weird hood thing. It's not a hoodie.
No, it's just a hood. That's fine. Like, I have kind of like a cowl that has a hood on it.
Yeah, but it's like a whole thing that covers you.
Yeah,
this is just the hood.
Yeah, it's just the hood and it's got her ears on it. Makes sense. I don't know. I'm perfectly fine with the existence of that as something someone would wear.
It's a confusing garment to me.
I don't think it's as confusing as you think it is.
Show me a garment that looks like this. Sound off in chat.
I think it's fine. I think it's fine. I think you are just being a bit temperamental.
Me?
Yep, I said it.
Wow. So, you've been busy practicing with your club then?
Oh, huh? Oh, no, actually, I barely go.
Huh?
Then just what are you doing?
Matchmaking parties and stuff like that.
What?
Their shouts filled the whole street, and once again, people turned around to stare. Right, because in Okabe's mind, that's part of being normal and moving on again. And also, I feel like part of it is also he's got to prove to himself that he can find that again.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that his whole life isn't going to be chained to loving someone who he let die. It's not that surprising, is it? I'm a normal college kid. Increasingly disappointed Ferris and increasingly hot and bothered Luca.
That's true. I'm sorry. But
Luca was fidgeting like he wanted to say something.
How can you go after other women when you've got your beautiful Ferris, Nya? It's unforgivable.
Don't get the wrong idea, all right? I'm not really interested in girls. In fact, I went along with the rest of the club, but there wasn't really any place for a wannabe normal like myself. There was no way I could keep up with the conversations that the normies had. While the other men and women were having fun, I would just kind of sit there. A matchmaking party was a challenge far beyond my capabilities. I wasn't going to tell Ferris and Luca that, though. Luca's over here.
Not really into girls. Not really into girls.
Okay, gender swapping back in 3, 2, 1.
Just ignore all the gender stuff and you got this, all right?
Oh, man. Poor Luca.
Aw, that's so nice. Mayushi wants to go to a matchmaking party with Okarin, too.
I keep mentally reading her sprite the wrong way. Her hair makes it look like she's looking at you straight on, but then her right side of her head just has a lot more of it for some reason. But then it's like, no, it's actually a 3/4 view, so that's meant to be longer. But it's not really shown well on her face, so whenever I look kind of off to the side, it looks like her head is wrong, and I can't unsee it. What? Mayuri wanted to do what? Is she old enough to be interested in that sort of thing?
'Cause that's when everybody gets together and has a fun party, right?
Oh, evidently not.
Well, it's not wrong, but the nuance is a little different, Nya.
We could hold it at the lab. Of course, Luca and Ferris will come. Oh, and Daru and Nai and Suzu.
And you see kind of where Mayuri's head is at right now, right? She's watched her what is he the Hikoboshi?
Yeah.
Yeah. Get absolutely destroyed in a single day for reasons he won't tell her.
Although wasn't she there in that scene at the beginning? Yeah, she was there.
Yeah, but then time got rewritten.
After that scene?
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, because that still happens.
She
So-
and Daru and Suzu,
She and Daru and
Know what's
Suzu
up.
know what's
I
up.
think.
Or, yeah, have some idea of what's going on. I think you're right. You're right about it.
Because she was the one encouraging him, you don't have to do it. You don't have to go back anymore.
Right. So, so she is aware, but she's also trying to slowly nudge Okabe back into being
Okabe.
Okabe. Hanging out with all his friends again that he doesn't want to see.
Oh.
Does he remember that one timeline where Nai killed him?
Assuredly.
Mayuri, tried to. Mayuri turned to me with a guilty look. Suzu, huh? Suzuha Amane, also known as John Titor. A time traveler from the year 2036. A true warrior who was still fighting even as I was trying my best to give up. I've barely seen her since summer. I was avoiding her. Part of the reason I'd stopped going to the lab was that she spent all of her time there now. Until a month or so ago, just hearing Suzuha's name was enough to cause flashbacks, and it was all I could do to endure them. After 3 months, I could finally stand to hear her name, but I didn't think I could keep it together if I met her in person again. Of course, it's not her fault. I'm not blaming her. So, I didn't want her to blame me. She'd never come out and said it, but when she looked at me with that razor-sharp glint in her eyes, I felt something like guilt. Right, because from her perspective, the only hope for changing her future is refusing to do anything.
Yep.
Yeah.
Everyone?
Huh? What?
Mayu, she's been planning an operation with Daru. An operation?
There's different energy coming from Luca, doesn't it? It sounded like something the old me would have done.
Yeah? What kind of operation, yeah?
Operation Make Suzu Smile.
Huh? What? Why was Mayuri talking about this out of the blue? No, maybe it wasn't out of the blue. She might have been thinking about it for a long time, so I decided to respond as cheerfully as I could. Why don't you tell me about it, Mayuri?
Oh, okay. So Mayu, she thinks that Suzu's normally kind of scary, but she's actually a really nice person. Sometimes when I'm in the lab, I'll start to fall asleep on the sofa, and when I wake up, there will be a blanket over me. Explain that, scientists. When I ask Suzu about it, she says she has no idea, but... Oh, I had a similar experience. My dad once asked me to go shopping for him, and I was having trouble on the way back because I had to carry so much. And then Amane came by, and without saying anything, she took some of the bags from me and carried them.
Because also in the future that she's from, the future gadget lab is still around in some capacity.
Yeah.
Right.
So she knows who all these people are.
She knows Uncle Ulkrane, she knows Daru. I don't think it's ever explained yet how much the other people at the periphery of the lab are involved in that future.
Yeah, but I wonder if we might find out.
Yeah, but like she at least knows Okabe and knows like the people he's around.
Yep.
Huh, I had no idea.
She said that it wasn't a big deal, so I shouldn't tell anybody. Oh, I guess I just did.
That particular Luca sprite. The come hither glance.
Oh no, I guess I just told someone.
Oh no, Luca, you got it bad, girl. I see.
Hey, this CG.
Wait, didn't the CG only happen in an ending that doesn't happen?
Yeah, I think so.
This happened in one of the This happened in the ending where he wants to relive the same 2 days over and over again, just trying to give people... I think it was Suzuha's ending, right? No? Was it Suzuha's ending?
I think it might have been.
It might have been Suzuha, where instead of that, he just tries to give her the same 2 days of happiness with her father over and over again. In the awful world line, she was a cheerful girl who smiled at everyone and who loved to go mountain biking.
She has the same face as that one sticker on my laptop.
Yeah, she kind of
Always remember.
Always remember face. Yeah, but in this world line, she wasn't the type who smiled a lot. This was partially due to the way she'd grown up. I'd heard about it third hand from Daru, but because out of the universal conscription program that started after World War III broke out, she'd been forced to undergo military training ever since she was in middle school.
Which end do the braids attach on?
I believe they attach in the rear. No, that wouldn't make sense, right? Yeah, because
I know, right?
They're not
Tricky,
her
huh?
sideburns. So yeah, no, they're just like pigtails in the back that she attaches up front. That makes sense.
That must feel really weird.
It must feel weird, but she's used to it. After that, she joined up with an anti-government forces and got caught in a terrible struggle. After that, he said she'd never really smiled.
So I want Suzu to really smile.
I see.
So what's your plan, yeah?
A Christmas party.
A Christmas party?
A Christmas party? We all spoke in unison.
It's almost Christmas, right?
But almost Christmas means that it's not Christmas, Mayuri.
Fuck. And Suzu says she's never been to a Christmas party.
Mayuri just gets to say fuck once.
I'm trying it out.
I learned it from watching you. So Mayushi wants to give her one as a present.
Mayuri can go a little wild as a treat. What was that one piece of Steins Gate fan fiction we found?
Yeah, Stardust Blunt
The Stardust Blunt Roll. Oh, perfect. No notes on that one. Ferris and Luca nodded at almost the exact same time.
I'm in, yeah.
Me too. Thanks. Ocarine, will you come too?
Huh? Well,
You don't want to?
I don't know how to explain that I might be the reason she's so pissy all the time. It's not that, it's just... I don't think Suzuha would really want me there. Do you? And Mayuri should know why. I was never going back to the past. Wait, no, maybe it is from the side and it just curls back like that. Because we see her in another timeline, she wears them down to her side, kind of like... It's not like her sideburns, it's just that's where the hair on the side of her head comes to rest. And then she pulled... Like you can't see it, but it's like coming down from the back, kind of meeting, like being pulled up into pigtails, then braided, then curled back up. I think that makes more sense. Yeah, that makes more sense. I'm willing to accept that hair. That is, in terms of anime hair offenses, that is far and away one of the more palatable ones.
What if it connects at both ends? Mobius braid.
What is that one character from Guilty Gear who's got the one like hair loop that's just like, how does that even?
I have no
Is it
idea.
Jam? It's not Jam, is it? It might be Jam. I forget. I'm a fake Guilty Gear fan. I still couldn't forget the look on Suzuha's face when I told her that. It was an expression filled with anger and despair. She must have felt like her last most desperate hope was crumbling away right before her eyes. The words she'd said to me then were still sharp thorns lodged in my heart. Suzuha doesn't like me, you know.
Mayushi doesn't think so.
Mayuri, you know exactly why.
I think she probably regrets the fact that she got mad at you. I think she just can't say it.
Really?
Yeah, I'm sure of it.
I couldn't turn her down after Mayuri said that.
Also, I'm like 10 times better with people than you.
That is actually true. I'm trying, but yes, that is that. I think we've established that your emotional intelligence is actually ridiculous. Fine.
I maxed charisma.
She really did, though, didn't she? High charisma. Yeah, I can see it. I'll think about it.
Okay. By the way, Okabe,
There was a bit of hesitation in Luca's voice.
how did the doctor's appointment go?
Evidently, Luca had heard about my counseling from Mayuri. Right, because Luca's still in high school with Mayuri at this point, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe he'd wanted to see me because he was worried about how it went. I guess I'm making Luca and Ferris worry as well. In this worldline, they hadn't joined the lab, but even so, they were dear friends. I've never tried hypnotherapy before. It was interesting. Never thought it would work on me, so that was a big surprise.
It worked?
Perfectly.
Ah.
I bet Luke and Jan wouldn't last a second.
Well, yes, but there are different reasons for that.
Oh, come on.
Oh, come... Luca, and I say this as a friend, you have the biggest sub-energy out of anyone I know. Yeah, I'm sure. Luca would believe anything you told him. Anyway, there's no point standing around forever, right? I was getting hungry and it was time to find someplace to eat. Hey guys, where do you want to eat? It's my treat. We decided to head toward Yodobashi. There were a lot of restaurants there, so it was perfect.
Way to go, Kyoma. I mean, Okarine. You're the best, nya.
Thank you. What should I eat? Maybe fried chicken. Juicy fried chicken.
That's all Mayushi ever eats, nya.
I walked behind the three of them, and I thought to myself, what would it be like if Kurisu were here? I'd tried my hardest for the past few months not to think about her, but was it because of my experience yesterday that I did anyway? And the expressions and little mannerisms I had seen yesterday, the voice, the way she'd walked, I remembered my conversation with her. I was going to say we skipped right over it and went right to the aftermath, which was pretty bad.
Yeah. Hello, Rintaro Okabe. I'm Kurisu Makise. Nice to meet you.
I couldn't respond at all. Something felt slightly off about the way Kurisu moved on the screen, but it was really slight. I would get used to it soon. More importantly, the voice and the way she spoke were exactly like the real Kurisu. I almost cried, and it was all I could do to stop from breaking down.
Maho, it's not the middle of the night, is it?
The camera on the PC switched from me to Maho.
No, it's not. Why?
I was wondering if the two of you were sleepy.
Was she talking about the fact that I didn't respond to her introduction?
I was asleep until just a bit ago, but now I'm 100% awake.
I see you're as lazy as ever, huh?
Don't be rude.
Anyway, can I ask a question?
Sure, what's up?
What's your relationship to Rintaro Okabe here?
He is a student who participated in the last ATF seminar. He seemed very interested in the research, so I brought him here.
Pointedly not mentioning the... Maho decided not to tell Amadeus that I was a friend of Kurisu's before she died. Why, I wonder? Did she not want Amadeus to find out? Or was I supposed to tell her myself?
Huh. He must be pretty impressive if you're saying that.
The Kurisu on the screen turned to me and smiled. Calm down.
So, Okabe, what's your major? Brain science, I assume?
Oh, the words got stuck in my throat. I said, calm down. You know this is just a program. Her words, her appearance, even the conversation she's having with you right now, they are all artificial. But even though I knew that, I still couldn't speak. I had no idea what to say. And more than that, the words "nice to meet you" hit me harder than I thought they would. This wasn't the Kurisu I'd spent those 3 weeks with. Maho had told me this ahead of time, and I thought I understood it, but hearing it for myself hurt more than I imagined.
Okabe living through that one Black Mirror episode.
Yeah, exactly. Regretted not taking my anxiety meds, but it was too late now. My heart rate soared and my breathing became irregular. My head was spinning, and at the corners of my vision were beginning to dim. At some point, my lips had gone totally dry.
Is something wrong, Okabe?
Kurisu sounded worried. That voice software must be pretty good if it could handle nuances like that.
His major isn't brain science, but he's very interested in our research.
Is he?
Dr. Leskinen likes him too. At some point, I plan to make him my assistant.
What? Oh no, Maho, there's no way you could have known that particular phrase.
Oh no!
My head snapped up in surprise at Maho's bizarre statement. Me, Maho's assistant? And then I'd go to Victorchondria University?
Oh, you don't like the idea?
Oh, it's not whether I like it or not, it's
Well, it was a joke anyway.
a joke, huh?
Did you take it seriously?
I did not. I wasn't going to tell her that I almost did.
I see. But if you study really hard, it might not be a joke after all.
Even if it wasn't, I'd rather be Dr. Leskinen's assistant. This is my way of getting back at her.
It's harder to be his assistant than you might think. He's really just a big kid.
As she spoke, she quietly came over next to me and tapped me on the arm a few times. I see. That was it. She was making a joke to try and calm me down. Sorry, thank you.
What are you talking about, huh?
I didn't think subtlety was her thing. Maybe I was wrong.
Maho, excuse me.
Kurisu. Is that supposed to mean something when Kurisu is in brackets like that?
That it's not Kurisu, it's...
But it's Kurisu.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm wondering how to express that aloud, but I don't think there's a good way to do it. So
I think it's fine.
Kurisu beckoned to Maho from within the screen in a very human manner.
I mean, just say it in brackets.
Oh, you're right. Absolutely.
Oh, well, what is it?
Come a little closer, toward the speaker.
All right.
Maho moved her ear close to the speaker. I was just thinking about how weird it was when...
Huh?
Maho suddenly turned bright red and shouted at the screen.
Of course not. What are you talking about?
You don't need to be so embarrassed.
I'm not embarrassed. Just stop being weird.
Something I just noticed. The little highlights in the center of Amadeus Kurisu's eyes are squares,
Yep.
whereas they're circular in everybody else's.
I'll have to pay attention for that when she opens her eyes again.
Probably because she's
I'm
in a monitor.
Oh, what are you two talking about? It was obvious that Kurisu had whispered something to Maho. What did she say? Yeah, you're right. Yep. Maho glanced at me.
Ugh.
And for some reason, she'd blushed and turned away. Oh, I see. From the way Maho was acting and what I knew about Kurisu, there was only one possibility. God damn mainstream woman. I whispered a name I'd often teased Kurisu with and suddenly felt a lot better. Was that meant to be one of his epithets for her?
That was something he said in the previous game.
Was it?
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
Not all the time, but...
I remember, like, Celeb Sev, Zombie, Assistant.
Yeah, it wasn't a nickname for her. It was just a thing that he
called
said
it.
at some point.
She must have said something stupid like, "You two make a good couple," or "You finally found a man, huh?" The way she looked at a boy and a girl holding a friendly conversation and immediately assumed they were dating was just a lot like the Kurisu I knew. What a system. It didn't need to be that true to her personality, did it? I chuckled. Do you think this Kurisu also browses at channel when Maho and the professor aren't looking too?
Absolutely.
Nah, knowing her, she's probably commenting. I remember Kurisu once browsed that channel on the Future Gadget Laboratory's computer when she knew nobody else was around.
This is confusing because this is a different... Isn't this not the... Is this a redraw of the original
It's a
sprite?
redraw of the original sprite because it doesn't have the speckling. But it's the same pose.
Hey, knock before you come in.
Christina, what are you doing when you should be working, huh?
Hey, stay back. Hey, what's with that? Oh, this is terrible. Right. ROFL, kind of laugh.
Fret not, Christina, or should I say, at Channeler Kurisu. Wait, hers are kind of square in this one anyway.
I guess they are. Maybe they're just always square. Don't call me that.
I knew it already. Indeed, I'd known it for a long time. You reek of at Channeler. The funny little jokey music from the original game. It's so inappropriate, I love it.
How rude. My perfume isn't that strong.
That's not what I'm talking about at all. I'm talking about your soul's power level. But it's cute how you try to hide it at Channeler Kurisu.
Do not call me that.
Your soul's power level. And hers kind of look more circular in this one.
Yeah,
The
so I guess
CG.
it's just a scene by scene, sprite by sprite thing. I thought I had noticed something, but I hadn't.
My silly remarks seem to have a much deeper meaning now. Is the girl in front of me one day going to, as Dr. Leskinen had said, become a real artificial soul? When that happens, what are we supposed to call a soul that still existed in this world after the body was gone? Not dead or alive, but something in between. Like a zombie.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't science anymore, it was philosophy, or maybe religion. But yeah, oh yeah, they're very square now. Weird.
Enough messing around. Okabe didn't come here to waste his time with this stuff.
The way you're trying to change the subject makes me even more suspicious.
I'm going to infect you with a virus.
I was kidding. I won't bring it up again.
Kurisu quickly bowed her head. I bet back when Kurisu was still alive, she had conversations like this with Maho every day. I'm sure Dr. Leskinen had a lot of fun watching them. It was actually kind of cute.
Sorry about that, Okabe. You want to try talking to her?
Oh, Maho offered me the seat in front of the PC. Kurisu's face was on the monitor right in front of me. When our eyes met, she smiled just a little. I didn't know she reacted like this to people when she first met them. But my meeting with Kurisu went about as badly as it possibly could have. I realized that her prickly attitude towards me could have been unusual for her.
Ask me whatever you want. I'll answer anything I can.
Huh, alright. This wasn't good. I was remembering every moment I'd ever spent with Kurisu, but I couldn't think of what to say. And then the words that came out of my mouth were, "Is it possible to create a time machine?" That was what I'd once argued about with Kurisu on another world line. In the end, I'd lost the argument completely.
What?
Huh?
A time machine, you said?
Where did this come from?
It's just a test. I wanted to see if she was capable of thought experiments.
Huh. Alright, well, Kurisu, what you got?
Let me see. My conclusion is that it's not possible. But we don't know for sure that it's impossible, I guess.
What? That wasn't what she said.
I'll begin with my conclusion. The very idea of a time machine is idiotic.
See, and you
Fuck
can see
you,
the
Dad.
CG. Yeah, right. The CG is reused directly because it still has the speckling on it.
Yep.
That was what Kurisu had said in the Alpha World line. I remembered that well. Her hair is much redder now.
Yeah.
Because remember, it was brown in the original game, but then the anime made it more chestnut reddy.
Mm-hmm.
So which is why it's very red and pronounced now. I think the very idea of a time machine is idiotic. Remembered our old debate and decided to repeat what Kurisu had said then.
It's too early to assume that.
Oh, you think so? It's true that scientists all around the world have proposed time travel theories. There are 11 major ones and countless minor ones, but none of them are anything more than hypotheses, and some of them directly contradict one another.
Correct.
For example, there's cosmic string theory, a wormhole theory, but where time travel is possible is a thought experiment, but No one has a clue where he would go to get cosmic strings or exotic matter. In other words, it's not realistic. It's also something Kurisu had told me in the Alpha worldline. But the Kurisu on the screen was unmoved.
That's probably because scientists haven't discovered something important yet.
Then you think it's possible to create a time machine?
We don't know for sure that it's impossible. That's what I said, remember?
Yeah, her opinion was slightly different. Was because I was in the beta world line, or perhaps... Hey, Hiajo. She knows she's made from a copy of the original's memories, is that correct?
Of course.
Then, I can't think of a good example, but... Is it like identical twins? You can't tell them apart at birth, but as they grow, differences start to form, or something like that?
We're still investigating that, but, if the memories they build up are different, I think that of course they'd become something different from the original human. The professor agrees with me.
I see. It was then that I heard the door on the other side of the partition slam shut.
Huh? Is that the professor?
From the loud sound of the footsteps, I'd assume so.
I could definitely hear somebody stomping around outside. And then after a heavy knock, the door to the booth flung open. Oh, you are very close again.
That's what I do. I don't understand personal space because I'm from America.
I see. That makes a lot of sense. Hello there.
Lintalo.
Lintalo? The professor opened his arms wide as he came inside. He grabbed my hand and began to wave it around. I didn't realize he was this friendly. He seemed to think he was giving me a handshake, but it felt like I was being worked over by a pro wrestler.
Hey, boy, what's up?
Huh? Oh, I'm fine, thanks. And you?
Okabe, your English is terrible.
Oh, shut up, Christina.
Christina?
Oh no, I was so focused on the professor, I used my old nickname for her. It's nothing. Don't worry about it.
I am worried about it. Why am I Christina?
I told you it's nothing.
You're freaking out a lot over nothing.
Uh-huh. I said shut up, Kurisu. Kurisu and Maho both seemed lost in thought.
You called her Christina, huh?
You too. Just drop it, please. I didn't want any more questions about this. Since the professor was here, I decided to ask more about how Amadeus' memories worked. Professor, is it possible for Amadeus' memories to be externally modified? But the professor wasn't listening to my question. He seemed to be frantically searching his pockets for something. Come to think of it, I didn't see that translator device on his ear. Must have been looking for it, which meant odds were good he didn't even hear my question.
Modifying my memories? It's theoretically possible.
Kurisu herself answered in the professor's place.
For example, it would be possible to make me think that my name was Christina. But memory data isn't like normal data. It's much more complex. I'm aware of no successful attempts to modify it. And even if the attempt succeeded, I would notice it and repair myself. I keep logs in an area that only I can access. In other words, a secret diary. If there was a discrepancy between my current memories and my diary, there's a very high probability I'd become suspicious. What's more, my memories are backed up at regular intervals. Even if they were altered beyond the point where I could self-repair, I would still be able to restore them. I would lose any memories that had formed between then and the last backup, though.
Huh, I see. Regardless of the topic of discussion, it felt strange. What Maho had said before she loaded Kurisu was true. I was starting to feel like I was chatting with the real Kurisu. The way she wouldn't let you get a word in edgewise once she started talking about science was exactly like the real Kurisu. It's interesting, though. I turned towards Kurisu and spoke. You're able to consider yourself objectively as a machine. From what I see in books and comics, I'd expect you to see I'm not a machine, I'm a human.
That's pure nonsense. Even humans speak of themselves as a combination of hardware and software, right? They just call it biology and psychology. What's the difference?
I see.
She's better with comebacks than anyone I know, isn't she?
When she heard this, Kurisu turned toward Maho. Her CG eyes big and round, though it was really just the camera sensor moving.
You know, Maho, this may not be any of my business, but you should watch what you say. You've finally got your chance. What if he stops liking you?
What? Come on, don't bring that up again.
But it's what I find most interesting right now.
It's not what I find. It's what I find most meaningless right now. So there.
What if this is the last chance you'll ever get?
You're the one who needs to learn to watch what you say, you know.
Dr. Leskinen was clapping his hands together and laughing. I had to chuckle a little as well. Afterward, the three of us, including the professor, talked to Kurisu, discussing technical subjects and making small talk. The next thing I knew, it had been almost an hour. I actually felt a little sad when Maho told me it was time to stop. In just a single hour, the strangeness I'd felt about Amadeus had disappeared, and I felt like I was really talking to Kurisu. Dr. Leskinen stopped me before I left.
So, interested in being a tester?
I tilted my head when I heard the professor speak through the translator.
Amadeus doesn't have a lot of conversation samples. I've got all the kids in my lab helping as much as they can, but it's not enough.
Amadeus is still in the research stage, and we can't just let anyone talk to it.
She might learn gamer words. We can't have that.
Oh no.
So I want you, Rintaro, to help us, since you were her friend.
We tried letting her loose on Twitter, but...
I remembered they'd mentioned something about being a tester at the party, so this is what they were talking about.
Professor and I will be staying in Japan for a while. We'd like you to be a tester while we're here. Your job will be just talking to Kurisu. There's no real quota, just talk to her when you feel like it. But twice a month, I want you to report on your testing to me and the professor.
Oh, and I'm sorry, but we can't pay you. I want you to keep that in mind when you decide.
It's alright, I'll pay myself in mental trauma.
All right. We've got a tester.
I don't have time to unpack any of that right now.
I'm aware that it's cruel to ask you to talk to an AI that's perfectly identical to your dead friend. End of sentence.
Mm-hmm.
Will you do it?
Unquestionably, yes. Without a second thought.
Excellent. If you're not interested, feel free to turn us down.
I remembered what it had felt like to talk to Kurisu, when the monitor was just about to turn off. This is what Kurisu had said.
Let's talk again sometime, Rintaro Okabe.
That's what I'd hoped for when I came here, wasn't it? I'll do it. Please, let me do it. I thought I was ready when I accepted the job, but I had never expected this. Look at that icon.
All right.
Hello.
It's Makise.
Kurisu was displayed on the screen. Yes, it was Amadeus. The app the professor had given me allowed me to access the servers at Victor Condria University from anywhere, 24 hours a day. Right, because what's running her is a supercomputer cluster at Victor Condria, and then they've got a secure connection to, like, the app creates a secure connection, and she runs on that side.
I wonder how many GPUs she's built out of.
It's a good question. I have no idea. I don't know if that's even a sensible thing to ask or not.
It is. All machine learning model stuff runs on GPUs. Much like a lot of crypto shit ran on GPUs, it just so turns out that having a big array of programmable processing power of the same sort you use for shaders and rendering graphics is super useful for any other time you need to do a shit ton of parallelizable math.
Yeah.
So
Fair
that's
enough.
why your gaming computers cost so much right now.
Thank you, Vivian.
Of course, you'll be able to contact Kurisu. But Kurisu will also sometimes contact you. When that happens, just talk to her.
This I hadn't predicted. I never thought she would call me, or that her face would be displayed on the screen.
Or should I have introduced myself with, it's Christina?
She looked really mad. I could guess why. I had gotten 8 calls from Kurisu, and I ignored them all.
Maho and Dr. Leskinen explained things, so I thought I'd call once myself to make a proper introduction, but I didn't expect you'd refuse to pick up 8 times.
Okay.
Why aren't you saying anything?
Talking to a realistic girl on my smartphone with so many people around was pretty embarrassing, honestly.
Well, if you don't want to talk, that's fine, but what's with you? I was sure this was my chance to talk more than usual. I feel like an idiot. Just know that during the test period, I'm always connected with you. Contact me whenever you feel like it. I'm busy, so I don't know if I'll always be able to answer your calls.
Man, what is this? More than that strangely polite, friendly Kurisu from yesterday. Angry, stubborn, more curious than anyone. The way she seemed to be constantly challenging you.
Anyway, goodbye.
I realized that this really was Kurisu Makise. That was the girl I'd spent those 3 weeks with. Lab member 004, my assistant Christina, aka Kurisu Makise. Her movements were a little more jerky than I'd seen on the computer in Dr. Leskinen's office, but evidently that was because of the smartphone. That alone was enough to make me feel like my heart was being squeezed dry. I stood still holding the smartphone tight.
Okonin, what's wrong, nya?
Oh, I'm coming. I thought to myself as I ran to catch up with the others. You want to try it?
Does it do anything? Does it do anything?
Oh, we
It
can't
doesn't-
right now. We can't right now.
Okay.
Maybe Dr. Leskinen was right, and this test would be a very cruel thing for me. But even so, in my mind, I was already starting to think about what I would talk about with Kurisu.
Time for Okabe to go through some cool and unusual punishment.
Oh, yeah. What's this? We got Maho? Oh, this is different. This is
Interesting.
a completely different narration. Maho Myajo was remembering. She was remembering the last night she'd spoken to Kurisu Makise in person.
Hey, it's the lab.
2010 in March. Yeah, that's
The Victor Condria University Brain Science Lab.
It is. Oh my god, hold on. Nope, can't talk about that because that's a spoiler. Never mind. Moving along.
Seriously, why do I have to do this now of all times?
That night, Kurisu was whispering to herself a lot. Victor Condria University's Brain Science Institute. Maho and Kurisu worked in the same room at the lab. Thus, Maho was forced to hear Kurisu's angry mumblings whether she wanted to or not. A little was fine, but she'd been acting like this all day and was keeping Maho from concentrating. She finally snapped and turned away from the paper she was writing.
Hey, Kurisu.
English was the language most commonly used at Victor Condria University. When the other staff and professors were around, she'd always use English, but when it was just her and Kurisu, Maho would often speak in Japanese.
Would you stop it?
What? Stop what?
Kurisu stopped messing with her luggage and turned around.
You're so loud that I can't concentrate. I need to turn this paper in by tomorrow.
Was I talking to myself?
Do you want me to sue you for violating the local noise ordinance?
Sorry.
Ah,
Kurisu apologized and started to scratch the back of her head. Maho decided to calm down by standing up and going to the shelf where the research notes were kept. There were several books she needed for her paper, but they were all up on the top shelf.
ah. This must be someone's idea of a prank.
She said as she'd stared up at a heavy book. She decided to try and reach for it, but no matter how she stood on her toes, she came nowhere close. Her tiny little arms seemed to her like dead branches waving in the wind. She bit her lip. After she'd skipped grades to go to college and then come to work at this lab, she'd had more chances than ever before to hate her small stature. Whenever she walked outside after dark, the cops would stop her. Even with her ID, she couldn't get into bars, and buying medicine and alcohol at drugstores was a pain. The most humiliating part was that no matter where she went, everyone thought she was in middle school. Nobody believed her when she said she was 20. Everything in America was just too big.
Shall I get that for you?
Kurisu noticed the trouble Maho was having and came over, but Maho was stubborn and decided to pretend nothing was wrong.
It's fine. I'm not having any problems.
Sure you are.
I am not.
You're sure?
I'm sure.
But there's a book on this shelf I want too, so...
Kurisu easily reached up to the highest shelf and grabbed the book Maho wanted.
Must be nice to be tall.
No, I'm not really that... Oh.
Kurisu covered her mouth when she realized she'd said something she shouldn't have.
Thank you. That was a big help. If you need something in Japan, tell me. I'll send it.
I will, thank you.
Kurisu handed over the book as she spoke. And then suddenly her eyes went wide and began to sparkle.
Hey, Maho, about what we were just talking about.
What were we just talking about?
Talking to yourself.
Huh? Oh.
It looked like Kurisu had come up with a new idea. This was a regular occurrence for Kurisu, and Maho was used to it.
Wouldn't that be proof of a self?
For Amadeus?
Yes.
I mean, yeah, if she started talking to herself, I'd be pretty surprised.
No matter how advanced an AI was, it wouldn't talk to itself unless you programmed it to do that. And there was no need or even a point to a feature like that. If an AI started talking to itself, it might be a good indication that there was a self to talk to. But Maho hesitated to agree with her.
You should watch what you say here. Don't forget that there are a lot of people who think that a soul is something God gives to humanity.
That's right, isn't it? Do you want to know a funny large language model fact?
Sure, hit me.
Folks found that they could get better results for a wide variety of prompts by asking the language model to do specifically that, to talk to itself and talk through its thought process.
Huh.
That it would give more accurate answers to things that it was otherwise inaccurate about.
That's really interesting, actually. That's a fascinating thing to... Huh. It makes sense, but also, like, you wouldn't expect that.
Yeah.
Kurisu's expression dimmed. Kurisu and Maho were both treated as heretics in the lab, especially since they were both Japanese and women. And Kurisu was simply too talented. No one ever actually did anything, but a lot of the older scientists were definitely avoiding her. Dr. Leskinen was the chief scientist, and the fact that he liked the two of them was all that let them do their research in peace. If the other scientists heard what Kurisu had just said, who knows what they'd do. Maho patted Kurisu on the shoulder.
Hey, well, go have a good time in Japan and refresh yourself, alright?
I'm still not happy about that.
Why? I think you'll have fun.
If I'm doing an exchange, it should be to a graduate school. Why high school?
Has to be high school, right? By Japanese standards, you should still be in high school.
Oh, right, because... So this is... She went on a different exchange trip to Japan, separate from her going to go there to give the lecture, I think.
Is that the case, or was this just we've established she was in Japan for a while before giving the lecture?
Yeah, that might be it, that she was in Japan for a while before the lecture.
Just accept the professor's going to do something nice for you, alright?
Maho remembered what Dr. Leskinen had said. Kurisu has a fragile personality. All the bickering in the lab is putting her under a lot of stress, and she's at her limit. It might ruin her as a researcher. That's what the professor had said. He was really worried about her. So this was Leskinen's idea to get her to take a fucking break or something.
And you have to go to Japan in July anyway, right? So it's perfect timing.
Yeah, is July when she gives the talk?
I think, yeah.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of down about that, too.
The Akihabara Techno Forum. Was that it?
I'm still not used to giving lectures. I don't know what to do. I don't know anything about techno. I've always been more of a house person myself. It just feels more organic, you know?
I don't. I know nothing about electronic genres.
Now that you're published in Science-y, expect a lot more of this. You need to practice.
I'd rather not.
Kurisu whispered to herself. Maho didn't like being around lots of other people either, so she knew how Kurisu felt. But there were a lot of scientists who wanted to be published in a major journal, and then go on to give public lectures. And she'd beaten about many of them in order to win that honor. People were jealous. She needed to fulfill her responsibilities, even if just to shut them up.
Maybe I'm not that much better, though.
Maho silently laughed a little. and hated herself for doing it.
Maybe I'm just as jealous as they are.
And that feeling, which was a little like fear, was something she always felt. The girl in front of her was just that different from Maho. Someone she could never reach, no matter how hard she tried. Someone who'd surpassed everything she'd ever done almost instantly.
Maho?
Kurisu was peering into her face, confused. Maho felt flustered.
Yeah, are you meeting your dad in Japan?
She'd heard that Kurisu's parents weren't divorced, but that they were separated. Her mom was still in America and that her dad was in Japan. Okay, so they were separated, not divorced. After Maho said it, she wondered if that was too personal a question, but Kurisu smiled a little.
Actually, I got an invitation from him.
Oh yeah?
He's announcing a new theory this summer. I'm thinking of going to see the announcement.
Oh, a new theory, huh? About what? What's it about?
Kurisu's smile changed into a small expression of consternation.
I haven't heard the details yet. I know it's got something to do with the theory of relativity.
Yeah? Yeah?
What was it with that?
Yeah?
Maho felt like she was hiding something, but didn't question her anymore.
Anyway, take care. I'll be expecting presents, though.
What do you want?
Since you're going to Akihabara, why not something rare? You know a lot about Akihabara, right?
Huh? Why do you say that?
Well, you're always reading those sites during breaks.
What? Did Amadeus tell you that?
She wouldn't do that. Sometimes I'm right behind you and you're so busy watching videos you don't even notice.
I can't believe you found out. Damn my carelessness.
Kurisu actually seemed upset for once. This really surprised Maho.
Maho, please don't tell the others.
I don't think it's really something you need to hide, but...
The idea of sharing a secret with Kurisu made Maho happy.
Got it. Won't tell anyone.
Thanks so much.
Kurisu seemed genuinely relieved. Maho continued.
Hey, once you get back from Japan, let's find out if Amadeus can talk to herself, alright?
Okay.
Kurisu had a very happy look on her face. It was the face of a born scientist who loved to explore the unknown more than anything in the world. Her smile was innocent as that of a child who'd just been given a new toy. It was beautiful. And it was one of the reasons that Maho liked the younger researcher quite a bit.
Yeah?
But the promise the two of them made would never be fulfilled. In fact, they would never even meet again. So those were her last words to Christina. And we'll have to see what Maho thinks about that next time. I'm so excited to be playing this.
Me too.
I hope you all are enjoying yourselves. We'll see you for episode 3. Bye, everyone.
Peace.
Smash that like, comment and subscribe.